Hello and welcome. Silver can be a great investment if bought at the right times and for the right reasons. I am personally buying silver right now based on the current price of silver and the current cost to produce silver. However, I hear the phrase that silver is a historic store of wealth or has always been a hedge on inflation. And that has not always been the case. There are times when silver has been a great hedge on inflation, but there have also been times when silver has not. Let's go back to the 1800s and look at a 50-year period. In 1864, silver was $2.94 an ounce. By 1870, the price had dropped to $1.43 per ounce. People that bought silver in 1864 and held it to 1870 lost over 50% of their value during that time. 10 years later, in 1880, silver had dropped to $1.12 per ounce. People that bought silver in 1870 and held it until 1880 lost over 20% of their value during that time. People that had bought silver in 1864 and held it to 1880 had lost 60% of their value in 16 years. 10 years later, in 1890, silver had dropped to $1.06 per ounce. People that had bought silver in 1880 and held it till 1890 lost over 5% of their value during that time. People that had bought silver in 1864 were now down about 64%. 10 years later, in 1900, silver had dropped again to 65 cents per ounce. People that had bought silver in 1890 and held it to 1900 lost almost 40% of their value in those 10 years. People that had bought in 1880 were now down about 42%. People that had bought in 1870 were down about 55%, and people that bought in 1864 were now down over 75%, more than 3/4 of the value lost. 10 years later, in 1910, silver dropped again to 55 cents per ounce. Silver lost over 15% of its value over the previous 10 years, and 48% of its value over the previous 20 years. Finishing off the 50-year period, in 1914, silver was 50 cents an ounce. Silver lost another 9% of its value just since 1910. Over this 50-year period from 1864 to 1914, silver lost 83% of its value. Hardly keeping up with inflation. Hardly a store of wealth and value. There are many reasons to buy silver at the right time, but do not buy silver at the wrong time and/or for the wrong reasons. Silver a store of wealth and value? Not always.